Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Before we begin today, I know that many of you had some audio problems yesterday. I hope I've got that fixed. Please let me know how you're getting the audio on this broadcast as well. I promise you that today's story will surprise you. God's going to do something in this story that you really don't expect. This week we are looking at people in the Bible who traveled and journeyed for one reason or another. Yesterday we looked at the profound story of Abraham and his journey of trust and faith to the land that God had promised him. Today we want to look at the journey made by a prophet named Samuel. When this story begins, Israel had no king other than God. Instead, when they needed a leader, God would raise up someone for that purpose, and that person was called a judge. Samuel ended up being the last judge in Israel because, you see, the people came to Samuel and said, "We want a king like all the other nations have." Samuel responded by saying, "You won't like it. The king will levy taxes and enforce servitude in the military and to build things." But the people insisted, and God told Samuel to anoint a king for them. "It's not you they have rejected," God said, "but me." So Samuel anointed a man named Saul as the first king of Israel. Samuel's role changed to that of a prophet, guiding and advising the king to follow God's way and communicating the word of God to the king. Unfortunately, it wasn't long before Samuel started straying, and eventually it became clear that Saul wasn't going to work out. That's when our story for today really begins. God tells Samuel, "How long will you grieve over Saul? I have rejected him from being king over Israel. Fill your horn with oil and set out. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king among his sons." But Samuel is no dummy, and he knows how vengeful and dangerous a man King Saul is. So Samuel answered, "How can I go? If Saul hears of it, he will kill me." In other words, if Saul hears of what Samuel is up to, he will put an end to it by putting the end of a sword in Samuel. And God's solution to this? God tells Samuel, "Lie." Now, that's not an answer we expect from God, but it is most certainly the answer God gives. God tells Samuel to enact a pretense. As the Bible reports it, God said, "Take a heifer with you and say, 'I have come to sacrifice to the Lord.' Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do, and you shall anoint for me the one whom I name to you." And that's what Samuel did. And when he had journeyed to Bethlehem, the town elders met him in a bit of fear and trepidation. For all they knew, King Saul had sent Samuel to report on them, and then Saul would come and destroy the village. But Samuel assured them he had come in peace to offer sacrifice, and that they should sanctify themselves and join with him, including Jesse. Well, you probably know the rest of the story, where Samuel checks out Jesse's sons and eventually anoints David as the new king. But still we can marvel at God advising Samuel to lie about the purpose for his journey. There's something else that we can marvel at too. God sent Samuel with something particular to do. And in just that same way, God sends us. We may not be traveling to Bethlehem, but like Samuel, we are called to go where God sends us for a purpose. Like Samuel, we may encounter danger, and there may be risks. But as we go, God is with us. Our steps may be firm and strong as we journey along God's way. God has called. Our answer should be, "Here am I. Send me. And that's no lie. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.